Welcome to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, a homeschool mom, entrepreneur, and educator with over 20 years of experience in the areas of elementary and special education. It's my mission to help you create lifelong learners and embrace a holistic approach to education at home. I'll be sharing practical strategies, inspiration, and resources to support your family. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, or balancing work and homeschool, you're in the right place to connect with a community that values education just as much as you do. Join us each week as we ditch the stress, embrace the joy of learning, and set your family up for a lifetime of success. Hello, friend, and welcome back to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, your home education expert. This week, we're going to be talking all about resetting. Have you ever felt like you needed a reset for your food or your body or your schedule, your routine? Maybe the whole house needs a reset. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why we sometimes need a reset, how we can approach that time where we're feeling that like everything needs to just change, right? Or reset. And how do we do that? And how do we get everyone involved into that reset so it's nice and smooth for everyone? Because that's what it's all about. We want it to be easy. That's why it's called Home Education with Ease. We really want this to be very smooth and enjoyable for you and your entire family. So if you ever have felt that like everything is needing to change, let's dive in and let's talk about that today. So I know myself, I was feeling that big time. And I've shared with you that we rent our house out for Masters, the golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia. And starting in January is really when we like start thinking about it and saying like, okay, what are some of the to-dos that need done to prepare our house for renting it out for someone else to stay here while we're not here? And what does that look like? What's the to-do list here on the outside of the house, the inside of the house, packing, where are we going, work? What are some things that need done ahead of time so then that we were prepared, right? So I was really getting this like anxious feeling as we were leading up to it. I was made all the lists. I did all the things. I felt pretty good, but then I also started having that anxious feeling come in as well, right? And this is for the moms out there, the ladies out there. It also has to do with where we are at on our cycle as well. And we've talked about this. We've talked about, there are episodes that I've shared about different phases of your cycle and where you're at in your cycle could lead to this. And I was actually just talking to a friend and she said, I know when I'm at a certain point, my entire house just needs cleaned out. Like things that I can't even see, they just need a reset. And I said, I totally get that. I know that I get that feeling of like, just start over. Everything needs to be cleaned out, deep clean, because everything just feels off. So if you have had that off feeling, whether it comes to your eating and your food habits, whether it comes to your workout or the way you feel in your body, maybe it's the way your house is, maybe it's your homeschool routine, or just life in general. Maybe it's just something feels off and it's like, all right, I need to hit the pause button because we need to shift gears a little bit, right? And it's kind of like that disruptor. I talk about this, frequently, but maybe not enough because I feel that it's very important. I have seen this viral reel that went by that was online, and I actually was in a Facebook group where the mom was sharing like, hey, I posted this video of my child and the Today Show wants to do a segment on it. What should I do? So I saw this reel and then my daughter was listening to Caleb and she heard it on Caleb. They were talking about it there as well. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had just seen this reel. So you may have seen it, but it was the daughter, the child was having a tantrum. And the mom just started shouting, Jessica, Jessica, Jessica. And it shifted shifted the daughter out of this tantrum into giggles and smiles and right. Like no one in that house was named Jessica. So that's why it was, they're like, what's going on? Why is mom, shouting Jessica? Is she losing her mind? Right. Well, as I was talking to my daughter about it, it's a disruptor. And why does it work? Right. Because it's disrupting the pattern that is happening right then and there. And I know I've worked with my clients on things like this before where clap your hands. If you need a disruptor, if you need to like snap out of something, it's like that jolt you almost need. And that's kind of the same thing that happened in that reel, right? Where it's like the jolt to the daughter, the child having the tantrum of like, what is she even saying? Why is she saying Jessica? She's not even calling my name. She's not even, right? It's just like snapping her out of it. So if you have felt that way, like someone just needs to just shake you and say like, let's snap out of it. Let's shake it up a little bit, right? I know that I feel that. And I know that after we started working and really cleaning the house and getting things checked off the list, that anxiety started to diminish for me. And of course, it went completely away when we went to the beach. So if you could get away, that is a great disruptor, getting out of your environment, right? Whether it's a day trip, a weekend trip, a week trip, a vacation, right? It's kind of shifting changing that environment, right? And you could do that by, like I said, just going away for the day. I know that for me, I would get into these slums when I was working from home, and I still work from home, but I remember it very distinctly when the kids were little. And it'd be like, oh my goodness, like, how am I supposed to get all of this done? The list is long, right? But if I left the house and we went to the park, that stress kind of like melted away sometimes, right? Because it was like I couldn't see it. I knew that it needed to be done, but I needed to be present in the moment and just spend the time with my kids and forget about all the other things. And now they don't go away. Of course they don't go away, but maybe if we forget about them for a couple hours, it helps to calm our bodies down. And I talked about this a couple episodes ago about nervous system regulation. And this is definitely something that I'm going to be leaning into more and definitely having some guests join because I have been learning more and more about nervous system regulation. And oh my goodness, it is so good for us. It's so good for our kids. And it's something that is not taught. It is something that, we have this anxiety feeling and this overwhelm, overstimulated. But what do we do? Take some deep breaths. I'll just give you a few things right now that I do that help to reduce that overwhelm and that overstimulation. Take some deep breaths. Go for some walks with or without your kids, with or without the dogs. I know for me, like, to go with the dogs or with the kids, it's not as relaxing. If I go by myself, I have no one else to worry about. And I can listen to a podcast. I can respond to all my messages. I can talk to you live on an Instagram live, right? It is what I need to do for my body in that moment. And sometimes I do none of that. Sometimes I just walk and I just enjoy the sounds of nature. And it helps me to reset my body and come back and have a much clearer mind and ready for the day, right? Resetting for the day. Now, if that's not possible, that you can't go out without the kids, then take the kids with you. Obviously, going out and getting that walk is so much better than not doing it at all, right? So loading the kids up, putting them in the stroller, or whatever you have to do, let them ride their bikes, their scooters, but set some ground rules when you go for those walks. And I remember that was something like whenever we went for our walks in the neighborhood, you can only ride 2 mailboxes ahead of time. You have to pay attention to cars pulling in the driveways and out of the driveways. Make sure you're paying attention to cars coming down the road, right? And they have to be in earshot so they can hear you. So these are a few things to think about whenever you are going on that walk. But if you can go for a walk and say, hey, hubby, I'm going to go out for a walk before everyone wakes up. Or I'm going to go for a walk in the evening when everyone's home and, everyone's just can be calm for a little bit. and just go do that. Give yourself that time. So these are some things that we can do just easily without going on a trip, right? Like obviously going on a trip is a lot of one, it can be overwhelming getting ready for the trip and packing. But hopefully when you get there, you're able to reset a little bit and relax and just enjoy yourself, right? And I know us, when we go to the beach, just that hearing the ocean and putting your toes in the sand. We just got back from Siesta Key or Sarasota. We went to Siesta Key Beach, the most beautiful beach that I have seen, and the whitest, softest sand. And it's not hot at all, which is crazy. And the water was so blue. It was just the best. Now, the downside about Siesta Key Beach is that it is forever long to walk to the actual water. So from the time you get to, or from the time you hit the beach and you walk to the water, my husband said it was probably about 300 yards to get to the actual water. So it really was a very far walk, and it's very busy because it's a very popular beach, but it was worth it. And we even went back. I think we did 2 days there, and then we went back for a sunset because I was like, I just need that soft sand on my toes again, in my toes. And it was amazing. So we did that, and that instantly resets me. And I remember when I was a teenager, 16 to 18 in that age range, and I was running a pizza shop. So I may have told you guys this story, but real quick, I was working at Pizza Hut for my first job at 16. And I said to my dad, I was going to go be a manager at Pizza Hut. That was kind of what everyone was doing, right? They were working there and then they were going to be a manager. And, that was just kind of the role of it, right? It was just a job while I was in school and for the summer. Well, he said, well, hey, there's this pizza shop for sale. What if we buy it and you run it? So I did. So the rest of high school and into college, I ran a pizza shop, and I had all the responsibilities of a business owner, employees and payroll and inventory and all of those things, right? But that was a lot of pressure for a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, let's say, running a business while still going to school, while having a life. Like I still wanted to go and do all of the things, right? The football games and out with friends and sleepovers, different things like that. And I also, I think I was babysitting at the time as well. I had a lot of things that I was doing. And I remember feeling that overwhelmed kind of feeling. I had no idea what that was, right? I just was like, there's so many things, And I would go to my aunt's. She was in Atlantic City. And I would drive 6 hours to her house, and I needed that weekend away from everything. So even at a younger age, I needed that, I need to get out of here kind of a feeling, right? But again, if you can't get out, let's talk about how we can reset at home, right? How we can shake things up a little bit. So then that way, if you are feeling these feelings of overwhelm, of stress, of anxiety, how can we shake it up a little bit so then that way it doesn't feel so heavy for you? I know whenever we were getting ready for masters, we were cleaning the house, getting everything sorted out, packed up, what needed to be put away, what things needed to be put out for masters. The house was pretty much chaos. Okay. There were bins and totes everywhere. I was packing certain things up. I was cleaning things up. I was also trying to work and homeschool, and the kids are in theater, right? There's just a lot of things going on. And not only were we having the chaos of the masters decor and packing and things like that, but then I would look around the house and there were socks everywhere and shoes and I don't know, random things that just were out of place that I was like, what is happening? You guys know how to clean up after yourselves. You know that your socks don't belong here on the floor. You know that your shoes go in the shoe closet. I mean, I remember there was 10 pairs of shoes in at the kitchen counter when the shoe closet was right over there. And I probably was guilty of it too. There's probably a pair or two of mine, but it was just like, why is there so much chaos right now? And as I was talking to a friend, she said, well, there's chaos in the house. It leads to more chaos. And I was like, oh my goodness, I teach this. I talk about this all the time. It's so true, right? If there's chaos, it's going to breed more chaos. So if we have things kind of out of place like they were, everyone's going to think, things can be out of place. It's fine. Mom doesn't care, which inside it was driving me crazy. I, of course, cared a lot, right? So as the house got cleaned up, things started to go back where they needed to go. Of course, sometimes we just need extra reminders, right? We just need that reminder to say, hey, your socks don't belong here. And if I catch them here on the floor again, you owe me $1. And guys, that is how it works in our house. Like if they are not doing what needs to be done, they owe us money. They also earn money. And that has been our tactic that we have used from the very beginning. At the very beginning, I was able to use coins, pennies, nickels, quarters. Now it's $1, right? And if they're really not listening, I'm going to take $5 from you. And then they're like, oh, and I don't know how it is in your family, but if that is happening for one of my kids, the other one is shaping up real quick because they're like, oh, she means business. And I definitely don't want to lose my money as well. So you got to have consequences. What are the consequences that are going to happen if these things aren't done, right? And we have to follow through with them. That is something else that is so important, that how are we reducing the chaos, the overwhelm, the anxiety? Well, we have to set expectations and we have to have consequences and follow through with those consequences. So that is I have lots of episodes about that. And if you want more information about how can that work for me and my family, please feel free to reach out. Let's talk. Let's dive in because every situation is completely different. And I 100% know that. Every single one. I know that you can't just pick up and go, right? I know that not everyone can just go for a walk because you have young kids or you have an infant or, right? Every single situation, every single one of you out there has something different going on. And I appreciate that. And I respect that. And that's why I say, let's talk. Let's work together one-to-one because that is how we're going to be able to make those changes for your family. So I know for us, we have those expectations. We clean up. And we do a quick tidy up at the end of the evening, making sure things kind of go back in place. And then, like I said, we have those consequences. So think about some other areas. Maybe you do need a reset in your home. And maybe you look and figure out where you're at on your cycle. When is the best time for you to do that reset, right? That going through the drawers that just drive you crazy because they're not shutting all the way. And finally, you just come to this breaking point of like, that's it. I'm just dumping this drawer out and we're going through it. And I know that's something that I had to do. I went through all of my cupboards in my bathroom and it was like, get rid of all of this stuff that you haven't used in a year. Like, why are you holding on to it? And sometimes that is it. Like, what can we let go of so more good things can come into our life, right? Are we holding on to something that we don't need to be holding on to that is dragging us down, that we can maybe release it and some good things are going to come to us? And that could be for any aspect of your life. So that's something for me, like going through all my cupboards, and it takes time and it's not going to happen overnight, but maybe just clearing out one cupboard helps you to feel a little bit lighter. Maybe establishing the routine a little bit clearer makes everyone feel lighter. So let's talk about that. Let's shift to homeschooling, right? And let's shift to our routines because they're all different. Every single routine is different. Your kids may not be you may not be homeschooling them, right? Your kids may be in school. But how do we change the routine, tighten the routine up? Because it's springtime, right? We're getting into summertime, not quite summertime yet, but we're getting into that summertime. So over the next few months, how has our schedule and our routine changed? Because it's going to change, right? The weather's nicer out. You might be able to get outside more where you didn't before. And now you're like, oh, we can go to the park and we can go to the playground and we can go, to the sprinklers. And I know for us, the pool opened last week, so we can go to the pool on Friday. The water's probably still chilly and I would not be swimming, but it's something that we could be doing, right? Because now it's nicer out. Now it's warmer out. Well, what has to change if we're going to be doing those things, right? Well, the routine might have to tighten up a little bit. If you want to get to the park and to the pool and to, the splash pad with your friends, then we have to make sure that we are getting these particular things in our routine done early. And maybe that's it, changing up the routine a little bit. Maybe you have been doing this same routine for the past 3 months, and now it's like, all right, let's shift it up. Let's change it up. Again, what's that disruptor? Because by changing it up, it shakes things up and it's helping everyone to kind of enjoy it again, maybe, right? I know for us, going on that trip, it's like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready to get back into routine. We had free time, and maybe you had a spring break and you had free time, and now you want to get back into routine. Is it the same routine, or is it going to be a little bit different? Is there something that needs to change? I know for us, I need to make a list of here are the things that we want to get through each day. And we don't have to spend a ton of time on each of them, but I want to get through each of them. And I want to make sure we're focusing on these topics, on these skills. So then that way we're in a good spot and you guys are, getting what you need. And I feel accomplished because I know for me, if I don't get these things done, they kind of hang over my head. And then I feel that weight. And I don't want to feel that weight anymore. I want it to really be easy. I want it to just feel lighter and more enjoyable for everyone. So putting that out there, saying to your family or writing it down in a journal, what are the things that feel heavy for you? What are the things that you need to release so then that way you can bring in more peace? And what are the things that you need to change it up? Where's the disruptor? Where does that need to be? So it could be in your schedule for your kids, and make sure you're having clear conversations with them. Let them know exactly what's changing, how that's looking, right? It's going to look different, and this is why it's going to look different. Well, if you guys want to spend more time outside, these are the things that need to be done first, right? And then that could change in 3 months when it's summertime. These things can change again, right? And have those conversations again. But again, set up the expectations, set up the consequences, make sure you have that routine in place so they know what's expected, what needs to be done, and if it's not done, what are the consequences? So keep those things in mind as you guys are making these changes. And I would love to know, what are some of those changes that you are making for your family, for you, for your life? I know for me, I'm going to be starting a reset for the food and my habits. I know definitely on vacation, I go all out and I don't hold back on the desserts and the ice cream. And it was all fabulous and I enjoyed every single bite of it, but I can feel the difference in my body and I needed to change it. I needed to switch it up a little bit. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give my body a reset. I'm going to do some fasting. I'm going to do some protein. I'm going to do some, right? All the things that I know, they're not new things, but I need to lean into them a little bit more, change it up instead of saying, yeah, I'm going to have dessert every meal. Nope. You know what? That really is not serving my body right now. And I need to change it up. So think about that. What are some of the things you need to change up? And if you would love to join me on that journey, I would love to have you. So we're going to be talking about this in the Home Education with Ease Facebook group. I have a special guest next week that is going to share more information about all of this with you. And she's going to share just some tips. She is absolutely amazing. And I just love her health and wellness tips, her fitness tips. And she's just really a great source of information for sure. So I'm excited to share her interview with you next week. And in the meantime, I would love for you to join the Home Education with Ease Facebook group. And I would love to know, what is something that you're like, I need a reset? And what are you going to do for that reset? Is it something that we talked about here today? Is it something different? Maybe you have something that you do that helps you to reset every time you feel this like lull, right? What is it? Because that may help someone else reset. You may help me reset. But I'm excited to just continue to share more of this for you as we get into the spring, summer months. What can we do as we are still teaching our kiddos, still doing all the things that we need to do, even though it's nice outside? Because I know for me, I would love to just sit outside in the sunshine and just soak it all up and enjoy that. And that's all, right? Just read my book in the sun. But there are definitely pockets of time that we can do that. And again, that would help to reset you. I know for me on vacation, I have this new beach book. I started reading it on vacation. I want to keep reading it. I want to finish my book, right? However, I know that I'm not going to be able to sit for a couple hours and just read my book, right? I'm going to have to be intentional with my time. And that may help give me the reset during the day that I need. I may be able to, work with the kids for a couple hours and then give myself a 30-minute reset of reading my book outside on the back porch, right? Or going for a walk, or making sure that I'm lifting some heavy weights, or whatever that is, right? Or having a good healthy snack, right? All of these things are going to be resetting. And it's the same for our kids. I know that Alex, he's like, Mom, I work so hard, like resetting and or unpacking and getting all of these things back. We've talked about resetting the house, right? That's what it is. Like, we're resetting the house back to the way it should be. And he's like, I work so hard. Can I just have a 15-minute wee break? And at first I was like, go, keep going. You're doing great. But then it was like, sure. I mean, we all need that. How often do we sit and have a scrolling break, right? Not the best for our nervous system because we're just scrolling, right? Getting outside and getting that sunshine and a walk and having, a uplifting snack, right? A healthy snack may be a better option, right? But it happens, sometimes we just need a break from things and just pick up our phone and start scrolling and seeing what's happening. So there's nothing wrong with that, but just be aware of it. Is it a 15-minute break, or is it an hour or 2 hours, right? And being intentional with our time so we can fit in all that we want to get done for the day and being intentional with that time. So let me know, what are some of those resets? Let me know just how you are doing, and if you do need any additional help, whether it's one-to-one or in a group setting, we can work together and we can, get you back on track and help to reduce that overwhelm and make sure that it is full of peace and ease. Well, thank you guys so much. I look forward to connecting with you in the Home Education with Ease Facebook group. Hope you have a great day. Remember, see each moment as a chance to learn, create, and have fun. Thank you for tuning in to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling empowered and ready to take the next steps on your home education journey. Your support means the world to me. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. For even more resources, be sure to join the free Facebook group, Home Education with Ease, and visit eduplaylearning.com to explore programs and subscription kits. You can find the links and any other links mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. Remember, you're not alone. This community is here to support you every step of the way.